The grand mansion stood tall, its walls glowing with strings of lights, balloons tied to railings, and a massive birthday cake displayed in the center of the hall. Everything looked perfect, at least on the outside. But the truth was different. Inside, the CEO's daughter sat quietly in her wheelchair, dressed in a beautiful gown that sparkled under the chandelier. She was paralyzed from an accident that had changed her life forever. Her father had spared no expense for her birthday, hiring decorators, ordering her favorite food, even sending out dozens of invitations. Yet as the hours passed, the hall remained empty. One by one the excuses had come in, friends claiming they were too busy, neighbors saying they couldn't make it, even relatives politely declining. The little girl sat in silence, her small hands folded tightly in her lap, eyes glistening with unspoken sadness. The decorations no longer mattered. The gifts no longer mattered. What hurt the most was that no one had come, not a single child, not a single friend. For her, this birthday wasn't a celebration, it was a reminder. A reminder that people only saw her wheelchair, her disability, and not the girl she still was inside. In the vast mansion filled with music, lights, and expensive beauty, the loudest thing of all was the silence of loneliness. Just as the silence began to feel unbearable, a soft knock echoed at the massive double doors of the mansion. The staff looked at each other in surprise. Who could it be this late when no one else had shown up? One of them hurried to open the door, and standing there was not a well-dressed guest or a wealthy family friend, but a young black boy from the nearby neighborhood. His clothes were simple and slightly worn, and in his hands he held a tiny gift wrapped in newspaper and tied with a piece of string. He looked up nervously at the tall doorman and asked in a small but steady voice, "Can I join her birthday?" The staff hesitated, unsure of what to say. This wasn't someone on the guest list. This wasn't someone the CEO had invited. But before they could respond, the girl in the wheelchair overheard. She called out, her voice trembling with excitement, "Please let him in." For the first time that evening her eyes brightened, filled with a spark of hope. The boy stepped inside shyly, looking around at the grand hall, clearly out of place among the chandeliers and golden decorations. But when his eyes met hers, there was no judgment, no pity, just a simple smile. She smiled back, her heart lighter than it had been all day. In that moment, it didn't matter that no one else had come. It didn't matter that the room was empty. What mattered was that someone had chosen to show up, not because of money, not because of obligation, but because he simply cared. The black young boy shuffled nervously into the grand hall, clutching his little gift as though it were the most precious thing in the world. He set it gently on the table beside the enormous untouched cake, then turned to face the girl. For a moment, they both sat in silence, unsure of what to say. But then he grinned and whispered, "I've never seen a cake this big. Do you think we can eat it all ourselves?" The girl laughed, a real laugh, one that filled the hall with warmth it hadn't felt all night. Slowly the distance between them disappeared. They began to talk about simple things, about school, about favorite games, about dreams that felt too big to say out loud. He didn't stare at her wheelchair, he didn't pity her, and he didn't treat her like she was fragile. Instead, he spoke to her like she was just another kid, like she was normal, and that was exactly what she had longed for. They played little games she could manage from her chair, making up silly rules and giggling over mistakes. The sound of their laughter echoed through the empty hall, louder and more powerful than the silence had ever been. From across the room, the CEO watched, his eyes widening as he realized what was happening. No expensive decorations, no performers, no luxury gifts had been able to make his daughter smile like this stranger had. In just a few minutes, the boy had given her the one thing money could never buy: genuine companionship. From the corner of the grand hall, the CEO stood frozen, watching the unlikely scene unfold before his eyes. His daughter, who had sat in quiet sorrow all evening, was now glowing with laughter, her eyes alive again. The sound of her joy echoed louder than any of the expensive music he had hired, and it pierced through the layers of guilt he had buried for years. He had built an empire with tireless work, rising to become one of the most powerful men in the city. He could buy anything, command anyone, yet in all his wealth, he had failed to give his daughter the one thing she needed most: true companionship. He realized then that the hundreds of invitations, the lavish cake, the endless stream of decorations, all of it had been for show. He had tried to buy happiness, but happiness had walked in wearing worn shoes and carrying a gift wrapped in newspaper. His throat tightened as he saw the boy kneel beside his daughter, making her laugh with silly stories, treating her not like someone broken, but like a friend who mattered. For the first time in years, the CEO felt powerless, and it humbled him. Tears welled in his eyes as it hit him: money couldn't buy love, and status couldn't create kindness. Those two treasures came freely from the heart. In that moment, the CEO understood something his fortune had blinded him to. Sometimes the richest gifts come from those with the least. The evening, which had begun in emptiness and silence, was now filled with laughter, warmth, and an unexpected sense of belonging. The young boy handed over his little gift at last. With shaky fingers, the girl carefully unwrapped the newspaper to reveal a small handmade bracelet woven from colorful threads. "I made it myself," he said quietly, his cheeks reddening. She slipped it onto her wrist with trembling hands, her smile stretching wide. "It's the most beautiful gift I've ever gotten," she whispered, and she meant it. The CEO, standing nearby, was overcome with emotion. In that simple moment, he realized the boy had given his daughter something no diamond or gold could replace: a memory of love, kindness, and genuine friendship. Suddenly the CEO walked forward and placed a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. Everyone in the hall froze. The boy looked up nervously, unsure if he had overstepped. But instead of scolding him, the CEO bent down and said, "Thank you, you've given her more tonight than I ever could." He then did something no one expected. He invited the black boy to become a part of their lives, not out of pity, but out of respect and gratitude. As the night ended, the girl no longer felt forgotten, the boy no longer felt small, and the CEO no longer felt powerless. What started as the loneliest birthday became the most meaningful celebration of all. Sometimes the greatest surprises come not from what we plan, but from who chooses to simply show up. And so what began as a lonely birthday in a vast and empty hall ended as a celebration of something far greater than wealth or grandeur. It became a lesson in the power of kindness and the reminder that one small act can change a life forever. The CEO, who once believed money could solve everything, discovered that the richest gift he could ever give his daughter was love and genuine connection. And the young black boy, who came with nothing but a handmade bracelet and a heart full of courage, left behind a memory that no amount of wealth could ever buy. Life often surprises us in the most unexpected ways, and sometimes the people we least expect carry the ability to heal our deepest wounds. Remember this: it doesn't take riches to make someone's world brighter. Sometimes all it takes is showing up, caring, and being there when no one else will. Because at the end of the day, the greatest treasures in life are not measured in money, but in moments of compassion that touch the soul.